Okay, so hi everyone, and welcome to the Study In, Study Abroad webinar series. Thank you for joining us today. We're pleased to host this session in collaboration with the University of Dundee, ranked among the top 6% of business schools worldwide and accredited by AACSB. We are honoured to have with us Professor Bill Russell from the University of Dundee. Professor Bill will take you through Dundee's vibrant campus life in Scotland's best place to live, with full access to academic, careers and wellbeing support services. You'll receive a presentation today from Professor Bill and also Radhika. After the presentation, there will be a dedicated Q&A session where Professor Bill Russell will address your questions on studying at Dundee. So please get ready to be inspired and let's dive into what makes the University of Dundee an excellent choice for your academic journey. So without further delay, I'll now hand it over to you, Professor Bill.
Thanks, Caitlin, and thanks for inviting us along today. You've already realised from only about 6 words that I'm not got the normal British accent. I'm an Australian. So there's multiple reasons why that's a good thing. One of them is that I like a little chaos, and I also like questions. My mother, who has a brain the size of a large planet, always said the brightest people are the ones who will ask questions, and all my experience has shown that to be right. Also want to introduce you to Radhika, who is the University of Dundee's representative based in India. Do you want to just introduce yourself and just say briefly how you can help everybody?
Yeah, thank you, Bill. Hi, my name is Radhika. I am based in India. I manage the South Asia region for the university. So any questions regarding your entry requirements, scholarship, or profile verification can be routed to me. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, everyone.
So Radhika has been working with the university for a number of years, maybe 5 years? 7 years, okay, time flies, especially when you have COVID in the middle of it. Incredibly experienced, has been working in the sector for a long time, can always support you and help you as you're going along. So she's there for you, is what we can say as it goes on. Right, I'm going to share my screen, and Radhika, can you just tell us when you see it? Let's see what goes on here.
Yeah.
I'll just make it full screen. Right, that means I lose sight of all of the chat box. So any questions that come up, I'm really happy to be interrupted, and especially if they're relevant to what I'm saying, so I can just answer them as we're going along. Maybe the other people on the call, Logan and Thahir, who are also here in Dundee, they can be answering questions as they're in the chat box as we go along as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about the School of Business, about Dundee, about Scotland, about coming to the UK, but also about the programs that we have here in the School of Business. So School of Business, relatively new school. It's only been around about 12, 14 years, and it brought together 3 areas of the university: accounting and finance, management and marketing, and economics and international business. Economics and accounting, used to be called commerce, goes all the way back to the late 1920s, and has been active all the way through. The other areas have been joining the university, but in different parts of the university up until about 14 years ago, when we came together as a School of Business. Those are the sort of normal areas that you will find in a School of Business, normal disciplines that you will find in a School of Business. Since we became the School of Business, we have grown very, very quickly. We've possibly grown the fastest of all of the business schools in the United Kingdom. People ask me why, and I think there's a couple of main reasons. One is that they really are research active lecturers who are teaching you, and everybody says that's what happens. But what's really important about that is these are people who leap out of bed in the morning and they say, "You little ripper, I'm off to teach management. I'm off to teach economics. This is fabulous." And they come into the classroom committed to their subject matter. It's what they have dedicated their lives to, and what they're trying to do is to convince you as a student that this is the most important subject, that you should also think it's the most important subject. So they bring into the classroom a level of enthusiasm, which at times is embarrassing. You might think, come on, ease off, ease off. This is not as wonderful as you're telling me, but they do believe it as it goes along. I think the second reason is this idea of employability. We know that most students who come to do a master's or an undergraduate, do a business degree, they're interested in their professional life afterwards, their employability afterwards. And we have focused incredibly heavily on that. The way we've named the programs, and we'll come back to that, the internships which we embed into the programs, and we organise and we fund the internships. These are all incredibly important aspects of these programs, and that's why these programs have been so hugely successful as we go along. There's also the accreditation. Caitlin mentioned that we're ranked in the top 6% of business schools. Well, that's really referring to AACSB accreditation. It's a United States accreditation body. 6% of business schools are accredited with AACSB. It's not really the business school which is being accredited, it's the business school's programs which are being accredited. It's a stamp of approval which says of the high quality of the teaching, high quality of the lecturers, but incredibly importantly, a process which updates the programs for what is the latest ideas, developments in the particular subject area. So AACSB is a stamp of quality of the programs which we deliver as we go along. Where is Dundee? Always an interesting question. Lots of people are sort of a little bit puzzled. So here's the United Kingdom. Now, when we call it the United Kingdom, it's actually the United Kingdom of England, which is the largest area. It's about 50 million people. And then Wales is this area over by Cardiff. Cardiff's the capital of Wales. Scotland, just below Edinburgh and Glasgow is the border with Scotland. And the Edinburgh is the capital, and then Belfast. So the United Kingdom of England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. Everybody knows London. If you're flying into the UK, quite often you'll come through London before you come up towards Scotland. London's about 12 million, Birmingham about 4, Manchester's about 2.5. Everybody knows Manchester because of the football teams. And you keep coming north and you go into Scotland, and Scotland's about 5 million people, so not a large number of people. Edinburgh, 750,000 is the capital. Glasgow, a little bit bigger, 1.5 million. And if you're flying in, you'll most likely come into Edinburgh or Glasgow through London, or maybe if you go through Netherlands, you'll go through Schiphol. You might go through Dubai or Abu Dhabi or Paris, or there's a huge number of routes into Edinburgh and Glasgow. These are major international airports, so lots of ways to get into Scotland. And then you just transfer to Dundee. It's about an hour, a little bit over an hour if you come from Glasgow in the bus. And Dundee is on this north shore of the Tay Inlet, and it's only 150,000 people. It's a smallish town, very multicultural town. It's an old port. Very relaxed about all of the diversity of people from different cultures in Dundee. 3 biggest employers are the University of Dundee, University of Abbotsford, and the Nine Wells Hospital. They all have they have large numbers of students and staff, but they come from all over the world. So this is a town very relaxed with its student population, and its diverse student population as well. Sits on the north shore of the Tay. The Tay River is the second biggest river in the United Kingdom by flow of water. It's got a beautiful view of looking out over the Tay from lots of places in the town. People don't buy cars. They don't even buy bicycles. They just walk from their accommodation to the campus. And the campus is a small, compact campus with a community feel about it. Radhika, I think you're going to talk about the accommodation later on, so I won't talk about it here as we go along. So this is a really pleasant place to live. Lots of things to do in Scotland. The town is a lovely town. But also, if you want to explore, and most of the students do explore Europe in general, then you can jump from Edinburgh and Glasgow with low-cost airlines into Europe. Down south, everybody goes to London and explores. It's a marvelous base for to be able to just be able to, at the end of your time here, to be able to say, I understand Europe, I understand how the place works. I want to talk a little bit about the undergraduate programs, and then we'll talk about the master's programs, and then finally we'll talk about the Doctorate of Business Administration, the DBA, and then we'll come back to Radhika after that. So the undergraduate programs, we split them up into 3-year programs and 4-year programs. The 3-year programs mirror the English programs, which are 3 years, 3 years honours program. And the idea is that you can just enter in year 1, you would join a cohort of students, you're not entering slightly along the process, so you make your friends just with everybody else. Importantly, these 3-year honours programs include an 8-week internship, which is organised by the School of Business, and it is funded by the School of Business. If it's overseas, then we pay for the accommodation and the internship. If it's in domestically, then we pay for the internship, but the accommodation is covered by the students and the living expenses is covered by the students. There are also a range of online internships, and these are remarkably popular. They were started during COVID. I thought they would disappear after COVID, but about 50% of the students choose an online internship. And I think the reason why that is because students want to have the experience of working in industry. But once they've come to Dundee and they've got a boyfriend, a girlfriend, they've made friends, they're established here, they might have their accommodation, which they have to pay for even if they leave Dundee. And so there's a reason to do that. And they can explore Scotland at the same time or Europe in the same time. So the 3-year programs, there's 8 of them. Business economics is familiar to people who are looking at 3-year degrees in England. Business management in practice, applied finance in practice, international business in practice, accounting and finance, very popular program. Islamic accounting and finance, this is suspended for this year, but will be returning in September 26. International business and management, international business with marketing in practice. All of these are professional programs and include the option of an internship. And the internship is done at the end of the 2nd year, in the summer of the 2nd year. And then in the 3rd year, your final year, you come back and one of your modules is a project report. If you choose not to do the internship, then you just choose a different module, an extra module in the final year of your program. The most popular amongst these, of course, is the BSc Accounting and Finance, but very close behind is the management program, Business Management and Practice. Applied Finance, also popular, and then International Business and Management would be the largest one of the international business programs here in the school. The internship this year is being organised by Intern China or Pagoda Projects. 8 weeks, as I say, included, and it's organised. We support you in the process of applying for the internship, and we will get you an internship. But we also support you arranging your visas, and then while you're in country as well. We send you to the same town. Now, that's an interesting decision that we made very early on, but the towns which they go to are Chengdu in China or Hanoi in Vietnam, Mexico City in Mexico, Bangkok, I think it is, in Thailand. And the reason why we send the students all to the same town in a country is that, A, it means they can provide some support on the ground in case you need help for whatever reason, but it also allows the arranging of sessions about culture and sessions about meeting local business people as well. Hugely successful. Students come back and they just rave about it. They say it's the most marvelous experience to be able to be embedded in other countries. I won't go through Karen's Dylan. She was a magnificent MSc student who had a wonderful time on the internship and then followed on by making use of it after they graduated. We also have a range of 4-year undergraduate programs. BScs are the popular programs for international students. Economics, BSc, international business, financial economics, business economics with marketing. And these are 4-year programs. Some students choose to come in first year, some students come in advanced entry into second year. And all of these programs have what we call an MA version as well, a Master of Arts version, but it is an undergraduate degree. It's not a master's degree. The MA is a legacy. It carries over from when we were part of St Andrews University, which we broke away from in 1965. They were awarded Master of Arts, and so we continue to award Master of Arts as well. The real difference between a BSc and an MA is where the options come from. If you're doing a BSc, then the options come from science or the business school. If you're doing an MA, then they come from the social sciences, humanities, and the business school. So it's the options which make it a BA or a BSc or an MA as we go through. There's also business management BSc, finance BPhil, and international finance, and the accountancy BAc. Whoop, got to come back, and the accountancy BAc program as well. All of these programs have a September start and a January start, excepting for the BPhil and excepting for the BAc accountancy. Oh, there's a program which is missing from this list. It's BAc accountancy with finance. Very popular program. It's equally as popular as the BAc accountancy program. As I say, they all have a September intake, but they also have January intakes, excepting for those 2 programs. And if you come in January, then in the first 3 semesters, you do 1 extra module, 1 extra course in each of the first 3 semesters. And then at the end of year 2, you will have caught up with everybody else. And then years 3 and 4 are just the same as everybody else. Lots of accreditation. Accountancy BAc is accredited by everybody, AACSB, ACCA, but also all of the other major accounting bodies in the UK. BPhil, also CFA accredited, and with ACCA. The management, CIM, Chartered Institute of Management. International business is CIM as well. So accreditation involved with most of these programs. I've talked about the January start dates. January start dates have an advantage in that you pay full fees, of course, in the first 3 years, but in the 4th year, you only pay half fees. And if starting in January, a lot of students want to start in January. They look at Australia because there's a January start date. That's the usual one in Australia. But you don't have to go to Australia to start in January. You can come to Scotland if you wish and start in January in this process. Master's programs are, we separate into 2 different types. The first type is what we call conversion degrees. And these conversion degrees are ones where you can have any academic background in your undergraduate program. So about 40% of the students will come with a business background, about 40% non-business but technical. So this is physics, chemistry, math, statistics, so it's any range of engineering. But a lot of engineering students will come and do a conversion business degree. And about 20% are non-business, non-technical. So these could be English languages, history, religious studies. We had an exceptionally good student recently who did music and then came to do a management degree, got a distinction, and also got the prize for the best dissertation. She then went on after that to go back and be a manager in a large theatre here in Scotland, which was what she was aiming to do right from the start as we go along. So these are people coming from a whole range of different backgrounds. And these are also students who have got brains the size of large planets, but because they haven't got a business degree, they can't indicate to firms that they have business skills and they have an interest in business. By doing these conversion degrees, you're able to signal very strongly to employers that you have an interest in business and have skills in business as well. All of these programs include, all of the conversion degrees include an 8-week internship, just like the 3-year programs, which we organise and we fund as well here in the School of Business. Start in September or in January, really doesn't matter which one you start in. We keep a very close watch on the performance of students who come in both cohorts, not only in their final degree classifications, but also for how well they do in their project as well. So it doesn't matter. These programs are set up carefully so you can arrive in either September or January. Slightly more students start in September, but not many. It's sort of 55% of the students are in September, 45% are in January as it goes. We build the programs around what we call base programs, and there are 7 base programs. There are 7 base programs. Sorry, I was just looking at them all just to make sure that there are only 7. There are 7 base programs. And then you have a pathway. And so you might have international business and finance, or international business and marketing. You could have international finance, or you can have international finance, risk and regulation. And these pathways on these programs are an incredibly important signal to your employers. We've put the pathways there because that's the name on the degree, but it's what on your CV you can instantly say, I'm interested in international business, I have skills in international business, but I have a specialism, I have a particular interest and skills in finance, or a particular interest and skills in risk and regulation. And I think that's an incredibly important aspect of these pathways, is that you are able to signal very strongly to your employers what your skills are and what your interests are. There are a large number of pathways, and I'm not going to show them all, but you will be able to find them easily online. But the other nice thing about it is that the entry requirements onto these programs are all the same. And so in that welcome week, in your welcome week, in the first 2 weeks, in fact, you get a lecture from me about how to choose your program, your pathways and your modules. You break out into rooms and you talk to your program leaders, and you get to talk to lecturers. You can look at all of the information about the each module and the background. The module guides will tell you about each module, who's the lecturers. You get to talk to previous students, and that allows you to make a really informed final decision. And about 25% of the students will change their pathway. About 10% of the students will change their program. So they might come to do international business and finance, and then they see international finance and they'll just step across to that. It's a very simple process to step across. So incredibly useful to the students. Almost nobody comes back after a month or so to say, I'm on the wrong program. In my time of 14, 15 years of looking after these programs, I think I've only had one person who's come back, and they arrived late. It was the reason why they wanted to change as they go along. So each of these base programs have specialisms. And they could be in finance, in marketing, business analytics has got, and big data, entrepreneurship, innovation, with 5 of the programs. If you're doing the marketing program, you could do it international marketing and branding. There's just a huge range of specialisms, which are the pathway. Here's some examples of some pathways, popular pathways: MSc Management and Finance. MSc Management and International Human Resource Management, International Marketing and Branding, very popular, MSc Management Strategy and Leadership, MSc Business Analytics and Big Data is quite often the second biggest pathway in the portfolio, International Business and Investment, Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Management, Business Analytics and Artificial Intelligence. You get the idea that they all have pathways, and that is the degree that you are awarded at the end. It's the signal to your employers as you go along. One of the base programs is the MSc Islamic Finance program. This is taught in collaboration with Al Maktoum College. Al Maktoum College, Dundee, is about 5 minutes walk over my right shoulder, just on the edge of the campus. They have their building and their campus there. Al Maktoum College teach all of the Islamic finance components on these programs, on the Islamic finance program, and the conventional finance and the statistics is taught by the specialists in the School of Business. The program is awarded by the University of Dundee. You are University of Dundee's students. Your CAS document, your visa, student visa is all tied to the University of Dundee. And the programs are overseen by the QA, the quality assurance processes within the University of Dundee. However, Al Maktoum College, very highly regarded in terms of teaching, and they are also specialists in Islamic finance. The number of pathways here: Islamic Banking and Finance, Islamic Finance, the base program, Islamic Banking, Finance and International Business, very popular. The new programs were last year was Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Islamic Finance. And then from September this year, Islamic Finance and Artificial Intelligence for Business actually is the full name of the program. As I say, these are conversion degrees. You can come from any background, and we do have people from any background joining this program. Once you matriculate with us, you can go across and you become an associate member or associate student at Al Maktoum College, and that allows you access to all of the facilities in Al Maktoum College, including their library. Their library is exceptional. They've built it up over a long period of time. It is a very good Islamic finance library, one of the best in the UK. When we come back to scholarships, one of the interesting parts of Al Maktoum College is that they support their students on the MSc Islamic Finance with a £3,000 stipend. If you have a scholarship awarded by the University of Dundee, then Al Maktoum College also provides you with a £3,000 stipend, which is paid as 10 payments of £300 per month. And that is just to help support you with your living expenses. New in September 25 is the Artificial Intelligence in Business, for Business actually, programs. There are 5 pathways: Business Analytics and Artificial Intelligence. These should all say for business at the end. International Business and Artificial Intelligence for Business, International Marketing, Management and Artificial Intelligence, Islamic Finance and Artificial Intelligence as well. Lots of interest in these, as you can imagine. Artificial intelligence is revolutionizing how businesses are undertaken, and so students are trying to get an advantage by focusing on the artificial intelligence. Part of this is these programs are taught by the School of Science and Engineering. Again, all of these are conversion degrees. You can have any background to get onto them. The interesting thing about these is that it's not the building of the artificial intelligence. If you were going to do that, then you would do a full artificial intelligence program in the School of Science and Engineering. But this is more about how you make use of the artificial intelligence in a business community, how you apply it, how you expect your customers to be able to access artificial intelligence. So it's the operation, it's the applied side, the business applied side of artificial intelligence. And these are the obvious places where artificial intelligence is going to be incredibly important, with business analytics, with international business, with marketing, with management, and in finance, Islamic finance as well. Multiple accreditations, as I've already said. AACSB is all of the programs. Chartered Institute of Marketing, all of the marketing, the MSc International Marketing and all of its pathways. Chartered Banker is incredibly important. It gives you Chartered Banker status on completion of the MSc International Banking and Finance program, or one of its pathways. Chartered Management Institute is accredited for the international business and the MSc management programs and all of their pathways. ACCA are included in a number of the accounting modules that we have on the program as well. Finally, CFA Institute is for some of the finance modules as well. As I said, the conversion degrees all have an 8-week internship as an option. Very popular. About 25–30% of the students will choose to go on an internship. Then they are supported through the whole process, plus supported while they're in country as well. If you do the internship, you come back and do the project as a project internship report. If about half of the students will choose to do the project as an extended essay, and about a quarter of the students do what we call a research consultancy report, which is where you work within us in a local firm to answer one of their questions. Not physically in the firm, you visit the firm, but you're answering a question which they have posed in this to the students. We have all of these conversion degrees. About 80%, 85% of our students are on the conversion degrees. The remaining students are on what we call extension degrees. And these are ones where you arrive with a particular understanding, of the subject. And then you do 4 advanced modules, you do research methods, you do quantitative methods, and then a larger dissertation. And it's the reason why you can do a larger dissertation on just 4 advanced modules is that you've already arrived with some understanding. So the MSc Finance, it's got pathways as well. The MSc Finance, you need to have finance in your undergraduate degree, or economics and finance in your undergraduate degree. Accounting and finance, it's got pathways of international accounting and international accounting management and strategy. Again, you need to have accounting and finance background in your undergraduate degree. And then the professional accountancy program, the only one without any pathways, the professional accountancy program is one for students who have an accounting undergraduate degree or a business degree with a lot of accounting in it, which is not accredited. And in 1 year, you get 9 exemptions from ACCA, the full exemptions, and you get a master's degree as well. So this is one where you've already done accounting, and then you're just doing a 1-year intensive degree, professional accountancy degree, to get full exemptions from ACCA. Again, you can start in September or January on all of these programs. It doesn't make any difference, and the programs are set up in that way. Final area is the doctorate in business administration. The DBA is taught online. There's an opportunity to come to Dundee for a couple of weeks. The advantage of it being an online program is that it allows students, you don't need a student visa to make use, to join this program, and there's the flexibility of it being online as well. It takes your MBA understanding and extends it to a DBA, but you're able to join the DBA. It's a 4-year program. You can join the DBA straight from an undergraduate degree. Again, this is a conversion degree, so you can have any background, and you need some work experience to be able to join the program as well. So those are the programs. It's also useful to talk a little bit about how we support you in the university and the School of Business, and while you're here. One of the really important areas is how we're going to help you with your career. The career services, fortunately, have been very well resourced for all the time I've lived here, been at the university. They help you on multiple levels. They will guide you on career choice. They will help you apply for jobs. If you want a graduate position here, so if you're wanting to stay on for the postgraduate route and you want a graduate position, then that takes time. You need to be able to start early, refine your CV, apply to a lot of jobs, and then they will also help you to prepare for the interviews, the personality tests, the intelligence tests and things like that, and the interview themselves, so as to be able to have the best opportunity to get a job, a good graduate position. You don't want a non-graduate position if you're here for 2 years, because it doesn't support your career moving forward. There are 3 careers officers embedded in the School of Business, and they are actively working with the students at the undergraduate level, but also in the postgraduate level as well for your postgraduate employment opportunities. They also help you for finding employment while you're also on the program. So a lot of the students, international students, will make use of the opportunity to work. You're allowed to work up to 20 hours a week during term. I only recommend up to 10. After 10, it starts to damage your performance, I think, while you're studying here. But they will help you find employment. The city works on making use of student part-time employment, and so it's something that you can organise within the city. It's quite straightforward. Once you graduate, you are able to come back to the careers office at any time for the rest of your life. There are a series of graduate fairs and events which they run, and the information about that is on the website, but it's also sent out via emails to the students. There's a whole series of workshops that they also publicise to all of the students about how to build your CV, what your strategy should be, and the like. And then finally, quite often the modules that you're studying have an aspect which is about careers, and so they will come in and be part of the education about careers and how to focus on careers as well. All of the major companies you can imagine the school graduates go into around the world. They go into large companies either in the UK or outside of the UK, and a lot of small and medium-sized businesses around the world as well after they graduate. We have an excellent centre for entrepreneurship. It's not part of the School of Business, and that's where it shouldn't be part of the School of Business, because it's bringing together people from all of the schools. So people with very bright ideas in life sciences and engineering or medicine who want to develop their ideas for a new business idea. They want to find people who have got a business focus to be a partner in the whole process. And so it brings together people with a business focus from the School of Business with other people who have got bright ideas from across the university. Incredibly successful, wins all sorts of awards. Lots of people have gone on to develop businesses after they leave here. This is a little list of some of the games and businesses which they've gone on to set up. One of the really interesting ones was a student who did a project about setting up a golf consultancy firm, and they then went to the Entrepreneurship Centre and launched it through them, and then stayed on and ran the golf consultancy firm out of St Andrews, which is a golf centre, golfing town, important golfing town, about half an hour away from Dundee afterwards. So there's an opportunity. The Entrepreneurship Centre supports you with developing the idea, the business plan, the financial plan, how to go forward and launch it. And then importantly, how to make sure that you do well in the first year or 2 years when new firms are likely to struggle as they go along. Final little area that is important to the students are the business societies. DUBS, Dundee University Business Society, very successful, more a social society than an education or workshop consulting society, but they do put on some workshops where they bring in outside business people and consultants. Investment society is funds management, and they run a series of workshops where outsiders come in and talk to the students. Marketing society, same, they bring in outsiders who work in the industry. The really nice thing about these societies is that you get an opportunity to talk to people about the industry, how they entered the industry, advice about how to find jobs in the industry, but also they give a story about how they were successful in these industries as well. Radhika, I think this is a good time to hand over to you about language requirements and accommodation and scholarships and things, specifically for the South Asian market. Are you still there?
Yeah, Bill, I'll just take over from here.
Okay, and just tell us when you want to move it forward.
Thank you. Yes. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm here to talk about School of Business entry requirements. So as Bill mentioned, we have a big portfolio of courses in bachelor's and master's. Our entry requirement for bachelor is 65% in your 12th and master's is 60% overall. For any course that you're looking to study for September 2025. There will be a change for January where our entry requirements for School of Business for PG, postgraduate courses will go down to 55% and above for conversion degrees. Second is English language requirement. As you know, that a lot of students from India are looking at opportunities for waiver. Last minute applications won't have time to sit for IELTS or PT or TOEFL exam. We accept IELTS, TOEFL, PTE. However, looking at what boards we accept is CBSE, ICSE, IGCSE. We accept them with 70 in English and above. But if a student is looking at a second year entry, advanced entry, then we are looking at 75 in English within 10 years of time from their 12th grade. We will ask for admit card to verify the English language requirement with the CBSE curriculum. We are in conversation with admissions to understand if there's any flexibility for state board, and the review is under. We should be able to get a formal update about it by next week, and I'll share that information with the team. With respect to MOI, we accept the list of universities mentioned on the presentation. We need the MOI from this college, whether it's Anna University or University of Mumbai. Even if a student is from affiliated college, the MOI has to be from the university on their letterhead mentioning that teaching and assessment was done in English within 2 years of their education period. So if they graduated in 2023, then yes, it's fine. But if it's 2023 February, then it won't be accepted for September 2025 because the 2-year period is over. So month and year as IELTS works through. So that's our entry requirements for English. Next slide. So we wanted to talk about our scholarship. Dundee has a very high number of scholarships for South Asian students. So if the student is undergrad and has got 65%, that student will get an admit in year 1 and will get a £4,000 scholarship for every year. But for the first year, they'll also be getting a South Asia Community Scholarship, which is an additional 2,500. So the first year is 6,500 for undergrads, and for master as well, it is 6,500. These are all automatic scholarship based on the documentation that you give to Dundee. This is, however, if your student has received merit distinction, then the scholarship would be Global Excellence Scholarship, which is £5,000 for year 1 and for all the years in undergrad. But the first year, again, we'll top it up with additional 2,500. which then makes it 7,500 for year 1. And then year 2, year 3, year 4 is £5,000 each. So that's an additional scholarship that student can take from the University of Dundee. Slide. Dundee is known to be one of the most affordable city in the UK to live. A lot of our Indian students have said that it's very easy to live in Dundee because the cost is under control. We have our own private accommodations, university accommodations on campus, and they're guaranteed to students if you apply before 31st of July, whether it's undergrad or postgrad. Undergrad student will be guaranteed entry for the first year. And if there's availability, then they can avail the same accommodation for second year onwards. But postgraduate students will also have accommodation if they apply before 31st of July. There are single ensuite accommodation, self-catering. Most of them are very, very close to campus. As Bill mentioned, that a lot of students will walk to the campus. I've hardly seen any students using bus or bike or anything to be. Bills and Wi-Fi are included in the price that we recommend. Support team for welfare needs, 24-hour security team, and as I said, 5 minutes walking distance to university or to city center, or if they're looking to do part-time or travel around the neighboring cities, then it's a train station. So very friendly accommodation, safe. A lot of Indian students prefer to live on campus as compared to private accommodation because they know everything is taken care of once they pay that amount to the university. And we've started our accommodation registrations for September. I can say from a lot of feedback from South Asia students that they feel very home when they arrive in Dundee. It's a vibrant city. Most of the students in the city are working, studying, and they all are very warm and contributing a lot of exchange of culture, knowledge to each other. So I've not seen students complaining that they're feeling alone. They don't get support from team, from university, from international office. So Dundee is there to listen. If they have a question, we are there to help if they are struggling in academics as well. Vibrant city, over 14,000 students on campus. We have a very, very active student union. I tell a lot of our prospective students to join Instagram and follow our student union because there's everything mentioned on it. There's so much happening every day that once they are part of student union, they feel, okay, there's a very active South Asia community as well, celebrating festivals. So the students will not miss home for that 1 year period when they are on campus. So yes, a very vibrant student city and very welcoming city for a lot of South Asian communities as well. Very important is our deadlines. As you know that a lot of Scottish universities have declared deadlines, and so is Dundee. When it comes to flexibility, Dundee is not going to be flexible when it's deadline, especially for the CAS, because we do have to make sure that students reach on campus on time and join the course on time. However, as I mentioned, that 6th August is our deadline for undergrad and postgrad. Conditions meeting is 27th August. Submitting bank statement and proof, if we ask you for that, then it's 29th of August. Please keep in mind that we take the deposit through Flywire. So if you're doing that transaction, it takes 24 hours to reach the university or to get us the deposit proof. So 28th, you can tell it to your students. There's a checklist that we issue, which is 4th of September, and the last CAS will be issued on 5th. Now, there could be a little flexibility on the last CAS issued. For example, if you're in the checklist and the amount of checklist is not done on the same day, the 5th could be 6th, but not beyond that. And the welcome week begins on the 15th of September. I will encourage a lot of the students to apply and make it to the university by 15th. Unless you have delay in your visa, because that 1 week is very good for them to learn about the city, people, and also to settle in the city. And the teaching begins from the 22nd of September. However, I know that there could be delay from visa even if you applied on time. That's why we have the latest date that you can begin is 6th October. They've mentioned 6th September, but it's 6th October is the last date to arrive on campus. But India team and international team are very much in, accessible to study in team. In terms of now, we will also have on the new portal. If you've applied for your visa, you have to mention on your student portal that which date you applied for the visa. So the team and the school is aware that how many students are waiting to get their visa and how many students have applied. This helps us to manage our deadlines and also make arrangements for students who are going to be late. So please keep these deadlines in mind and try not to ask for extension, because this is to make sure that students complete the course on time and find the opportunities that they're looking to in Dundee. Fee deposit, we request £5,000 as a deposit amount, and the balance of the fees could be paid in 7 installments, beginning from October up till April. However, students, if they're taking education loan, can choose to pay the entire fees in together. There won't be any discount, but I know a lot of Indian banks want them to pay all together. That's absolutely fine, but they do have the flexibility to pay in 7 installments. There won't be any extra charge on installment. This is once they have the UK bank account settled, the direct debit will be from their UK bank account. Cash to be released, we will release the cash from next week. Pre-CAS interviews will begin from next week. For CAS, they need to have an unconditional offer letter. They need to accept the unconditional offer letter, pay the £5,000 deposit, and upload the relevant documents on the portal. And then we will send you a pre-CAS checklist. Once you complete the pre-CAS checklist, the CAS is issued. So it's a very simple process. Students have to get access to the applicant portal. Agents can manage, but I think if once the students start doing by themselves, we recommend them to be using their applicant portal, because that will change to their portal student dashboard when they arrive in Dundee. So the sooner they get used to the portal, it's easier for them to navigate once they arrive in Dundee. Student support, as I mentioned, we have community centers, we've got health service, disabilities service, counseling service, academic advisors. A lot of students, when they, last year, I think post-COVID, we had this, that a lot of students required academic skill and English language support, which is based in the library, where students, when they took a waiver, but they could not understand how to write a report, or they needed help in framing that, then we do have those workshops going where students are recommended to attend so that they can be at par with others. But apart from that, they can reach out to all these student service and support centers, very much accessible from the School of Business. And there are a lot of, ambassadors on campus that can guide if they're not able to know where they should be going and asking for help. Yeah, that's School of Business contact information. If you have any questions, you always get a very sweet email when you get an offer from School of Business that to schedule a call or to meet an academic and to know if they want to talk about something. But nowadays, you'll also get an email from India team to know, say that we're based in India. If you want to connect, or your parents wish to connect with us as per India time, then you can reach out to me or Unmai, who's also based in India. I'll share that details in the chat box with the studying team, and they can forward that to prospective students. That's us.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bill and Radhika, for such an insightful presentation. We're going to spend some time now answering some questions that the audience have. There's already a few questions in the chat, but if you have any others, please feel free to type them in. I can ask them to Bill and Radhika. So a couple of these have been addressed already, but one question I have here is, Radhika, you mentioned scholarships. Please could you give a little more detail about what the criteria is to apply for those?
So our undergraduation UG entry requirement is 65% in your 12th. If you get 65% in your 12th or above, but less than 80, then you will get first year 6,500 scholarship, second year 4,000, third year 4,000, fourth year 4,000. However, if you're an 80% and above, then your first year scholarship would change from 6,500 to 7,500. Second year is 5,000, third year is 5,000.
I can't hear you. That might be me.
I'm able to hear.
You are? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Radhika, carry on.
Okay, so I'm just going to say, let's say two situations, one student with 65 and another one has 83%. So the student with 65% will get 6,500 for year 1. Year 2, year 3, and year 4 will get £4,000 each year. But a student with 83% gets a 7,500 scholarship for the first year. Second, third, and fourth year gets £5,000 each. So this is purely based on merit and academic requirement. We do not ask for any documents to be uploaded to get the scholarship. It is just the SOP, LOR, and academic documents that we are looking at.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And we have a couple more questions. I'm not sure who the best person to answer this one is, but one question we had was, how big is the Indian community at Dundee?
Indian community in the city of Dundee is relatively large. As I say, this is an international port, and it was trading with India for a long period of time at the Far East. So there's quite a large Indian community within the city of Dundee. I'm not entirely sure about the University of Dundee, but on our master's programs and undergraduate programs, something around 30% of the students on those programs, of the international students, will be Indian. Half of the international students in the University of Dundee are in the School of Business. So we have the biggest collection of people. On the master's programs, around about 85 countries apply. The largest group would be Indian students, followed by Nigerian, and then some of the other subcontinents, and then eventually down around about 8% is China. Australia, less than 1%. Very sad. We need more Australian students.
Lovely, thank you. I now have an MBA specific question. One person is asking, who are the top employers after completing an MBA at University of Dundee?
That's not easy data for us to manage. We don't have an MBA, we have an MSc in management rather than an MBA. There's a number of reasons why we do that, for employability reasons, but we don't have exact tracking of our graduates. Some of our graduates will write back and say where they've gone to work. Radhika, do you have any information about Indian students who come back and contact you?
Yes, just to add context to India, I have seen that banks for now are hiring a lot of our Dundee graduates. For example, Citibank Axis is very active in recruiting Dundee alumni, but BlackRock is also another one that's recruiting heavy on students from India who have gone to study in Dundee. So these are the ones where we have a good number of alumni, but we also have a very active LinkedIn page where all our alumni are talking about where they are working. So just a tip that any student looking to study abroad should reach out to university through LinkedIn to find out where the alumni are working, because it's very active. And it's not very, I see a lot because we do a lot of events in India right now, and students are looking at where does these universities place students, but they forget to understand there are a lot of factors. Unfortunately, social media is not talking about it, that it's your academic, your skill set and everything. And that's why Career Service in Dundee focuses on building a strong skill set. And if they follow our LinkedIn page for Dundee's career and support, it talks very much about it, and all the career fairs that we do is already been spoken about on LinkedIn page. So I'll recommend prospective students to look through that, because that will give them a much better clarity how Dundee kind of nurtures them to find a placement.
Great. And just following on from that, one last question. Someone has asked if you have any specific details about the employability rate after postgraduate.
In general, the employability rate is very high. These are students, master's students going into business areas. The conversion students, their employability improvement is dramatic. You might have an engineering degree with you're not going to go on to be an engineer, but you will be an incredibly successful business person. And so going onto the master's program and doing very well, coming out with a distinction, you are labeling yourself as a really top student. Whatever you did in your undergraduate gets labeled as being a top student. And so your impact on employability is huge. Just at least, you open doors which are just not there. You could apply for a business job without a business background in your degree, and you just won't get the interview. No matter how clever and wonderful and big-brained you are, you won't get the interview. The master's program, a conversion degree or a master's or an undergraduate degree just gives that signal that that's what your skills are. Radhika, anything you would add to that?
Catherine, just to put like a number, I think it's 91% of our graduates are employed within 15 months of graduation is what we have it on our website as well. So that gives them like a context. A lot of Asian students look at that number. So just to add a number, let's say 91% is what we are claiming. But a lot of them also do get on to education, fellowship and all of those degrees. So I'm taking all that into context. When I say about professional jobs, I would say, yes, it's above 80 to 86% is what actually get on to working professionally. And the others are working into increased skill sets, startups, all of that. A lot of our students do have startups as well. I know a lot of them, Indian students, have run their own startups in India, doing extremely well. But context, if I say 80 to 86 professional, tier 2, and 91% as an overall within 15 months of graduation.
Great, so that's really insightful. Thank you. So thank you both, Bill and Radhika, for your really valuable time. Audience, if you have any questions or if you'd like to learn more about the University of Dundee, please contact our study-in office in India, and also follow us on social media for more updates. So I'm now going to...
Can I just finish?
Oh,
Caitlin,
yes.
just with one thing. That's all right. I can come back to you, I'm sure. I think I just wanted to say a couple of things. One is how special Radhika is in terms of helping you once you have any questions, and very fast and very aware of the whole of the process. SRUK, incredibly good agent to be able to support you in your application process. So please reach out to them as well. The final thing I wanted to say before I go, Caitlin, is that I get asked about the ethos of the School of Business. They want to know what it is like, what is the background for the School of Business. And I explain it in 3 ways. The first one is we are family. And what I mean by that is that the professional staff and the academic staff, they all want to support you. 70% of the business staff are from overseas. They've studied overseas. They know what it's like to be overseas when they're studying. They know what it's like to leave their country and go there. But the most important support comes from the other students. That these students, right at the beginning, we give you opportunities to mingle with other people and start to work together and build a network. And your greatest support while you're here, not only on studying, but also in just your social life and your well-being, is going to be the other students. And you see it from day one. You see these groups joining together. They're about 10, 12, 15 people, large groups, and they stay together all the way through their study. And then you'll see them 10 years later. They'll go to each other's children's weddings and birthdays and births and whatever, and do business with them going forward. So we are family. The second one follows from that, which is no one gets left behind, where you are looking after not only yourself, but somebody else. Again, my mother said, you don't understand something until you teach it to somebody else. And so by working in a group, helping other people helping you, you get to learn more about the subject, but also the other person helps as well. And the last thing is our strength is our diversity. And this is not something which people think about so much, but it is really an incredibly powerful understanding of life. If I go to a dinner party and it's Bill Russell and 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 Bill Russell, that is the worst dinner party in the world, because I know everything that I'm going to say. I learn nothing. Nothing is of interest to me. What I need is people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different understandings, and as different from me as possible. And those people are the ones which you learn from. And when you graduate and you become a manager, you will realize that a team which has got a huge diversity of backgrounds is the one which is the most powerful. That if you are all the same, you could just keep one person and sack all the rest. But if you are coming from a different backgrounds, you've got different ways to understand the problem, different solutions. And that's exactly what happens when you go to university with lots of people who come from all over the world, but also in the master's programs where you have different backgrounds, whether or not you're an engineer, a musician, religious studies, whatever, you bring differences to this whole process. And so it's an incredible experience to understand other cultures. And you come out of it as being an incredibly powerful person in the sense that you can work in teams from different backgrounds and you can get the best out of them and you understand what's going on. So it's an amazing, that's the ethos of the School of Business. We are family, no one gets left behind, and our strength really is our diversity as we go along. sorry, I get too excited, Caitlin, because I just think it's just an important part of life, is to understand what it's like to be on the ground in the School of Business in Dundee. And Scotland's magnificent. I'm Australian, and I say Scotland is magnificent.
Absolutely. It sounds like a wonderful family there.
It's a great family.
Radhika, is there anything else you'd like to share before I end the stream?
Ken, just wanted to highlight that a lot of Indian students today that I'm meeting are experienced. And, there's a lot of news in India that, okay, if you are over 5 years of experience, you can't go to study, or study gap is too long. We'll say that Dundee never had that issue. We don't even ask questions about study gap or age gap. We really want students who look for studying. We welcome them. And this is not for the recent change. Dundee has always been welcoming students with different backgrounds. And as Bill mentioned, diversity. We have currently a student who had 18 years of gap between education. Dundee is the only university that gave him an offer, and he feels valued. So I think we really want to educate students who want to be educated. There's no question as far as they explain to us the reason that they wish to come and study. So yes, I would just like to highlight that students looking to study, we always have an option for them in Dundee. Entry requirements, no entry requirements. If they're not sure of their profile, they can always reach out to us. And academics really look into profile with their CVs and something, and they do make an exceptional offer if the candidate is highly experienced or highly educated. So that's just a message that we don't ask for any age gaps or, educational gaps that if they're 45, 50, and now want to do a DBA or a master's, there's no problem. They can choose to come to Dundee.
Great, that's really helpful for them to know. So thank you both.
Thank you.
And audience, I'm going to end the stream, but please do get in touch with us. If you have any questions or if you'd like to learn more, please do get in touch.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
So the stream, sorry.
Radhika's gone.